We were recently tagged by Chronik Spartan to do a video talking about an ongoing gaming franchise that we think is getting it right, and we want to see keep going and keep doing their thing. And also pick a gaming franchise that has maybe been extinct, needs resurrected, that we would like to see come back. In today's episode, we're both going to pick a franchise in each respective category and talk about it a little bit. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking Drugstore Cowboy by Franklin Street Brewing Company. It's a New England-styled IPA.
All right, you know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss one of our bi-weekly uploads. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and stay tuned to this episode of Gaming Off the Grid.
Hi, this is Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters, and you're watching Gaming Off the Grid.
Now the next channel I'm going to tag is Gaming Off the Grid. Again, I'm following a theme here in terms of channels that really got me fired up for video game collecting and starting a YouTube channel, and Gaming Off the Grid is another one of those as well. Robert and Wes have a fantastic taste in video games, and I'd be really interested to see what their choices were for ongoing and dormant video game series.
Thanks a ton for tagging us, Chronik Spartan. These type of videos are always fun, and I think this is a killer topic.
Yes.
So let's jump right in with ongoing gaming franchises that you think are getting it right, that haven't gotten stale. So I think that's a big piece.
Yes,
you know, when you get into, like, I'm not saying they're bad games, but when you get into annual releases of like Call of Duty, you know, things like that, your annual sports titles, the shine, the luster maybe isn't there because it just kind of gets repetitive and redundant.
They're still fun.
Yeah.
And like, they offer, the new zombies. You know, you play it for a little bit and then you move on. But a gaming franchise that I want to talk about, there's not that many in the series. I'd probably say there's less than 10, but they've been doing it for a while. And every time a new one comes out, it's just better, and the latest one in the series is still active. People still play it all the time, and that's Grand Theft Auto. I think every release they do is just superior to the last one. My favorite is the newest one, 5, but the ones on the PS2 are incredible. And it's just so cool because like the online portion of 5 is still super active. It's a great series, and they know what they're doing. They're not oversaturating the market.
Yeah.
They're waiting to release the next one.
Well, and I think you make a great point. So there's only like 5 main entries in the franchise, right?
And then there's a couple spin-offs.
There is with Liberty City and Vice City Stories, which they haven't even done that for a while. They could have done that with San Andreas, 4, 5, but they haven't. They've just kind of stayed the course. Yeah, dude, that's a really good pick because when those games come out, it's a major needle mover.
Yes,
like,
and
everybody's talking about them when they come
everyone's
out.
like, oh my god, what can we do now in the next one? Right?
Yeah.
When 5 came out, you could play 3 different characters. Like, that was awesome.
Well, and I mean, what type of a game? I mean, let's just think about Grand Theft Auto 5. That came out on 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
But it's just as relevant on PS4 and Xbox One. Like, that game has been almost through 2 full generations.
And it's still relevant, so that says a lot to the whole series.
It's like when they launch one of those games, they've got like an 8 to 10 year plan, for that game, which I'm sure they take a ton of time and a ton of work.
Open world, but they are doing it right. What game do you want to talk about?
This one's really tough because a lot of games come to my mind. Gears of War is kind of the first thing I thought of because it kind of reminds me of how patient Rockstar Games is with the Grand Theft Auto series, and it seems like everyone that comes out is just a big freaking deal on its respective console. I was also thinking about Zelda.
Ooh, yes.
The versatility of the Zelda games. You got your, top-down view. You've got your new adventures like Breath of the Wild. I'm always interested to see where they go with the series, but I'm going to go with a series that I feel like kind of resurrected itself over the last couple iterations, and I'm not even a huge fighting game fan, but I'm gonna go with Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, that's a great pick.
I feel like with 10 and 11, they've put Mortal Kombat back on the map. They had a lot of weird little spin-offs and things starting right around the N64 era, and then there was Shaolin Monks was really good on PS2, but there was never that game that it felt like everybody wanted to play. This is the new Mortal Kombat. I feel like they've repositioned the series in a way that it's kind of back to that, oh my god, there's a new Mortal Kombat, I have to see the fatalities. I think it may be time for them to start experimenting a little bit because I feel like the engine they're using, they could maybe do some of that weird stuff now and have it land a lot better than it did the first time around.
That is a great pick. I'm not a huge fighting game fan myself, but when the new Mortal Kombat came out, I was like, dude, I want to play this. I want to see the fatalities.
Yeah.
The visuals look incredible. And like some of the DLC characters, I think like you can play as like Jason and stuff, which is, that's so cool, so innovative. And I don't even like those types of games. Like that speaks a lot.
Yeah, and I've never been a huge fighting game fan, but I always liked the Mortal Kombat games, 1 through 3. And then it got weird, but now every time one comes out, I'm like, I I gotta play this, you know, and I think it's brought it back to a point where I would love to see them keep it going, keep the trajectory going, and maybe add some just weirdness to the franchise and try some different things. I think they're in a good spot to do so.
I think that would be super sweet if they did that.
All right, it is time to resurrect a gaming franchise that you think has been away for far too long. I think this is kind of the spice of this topic, and this is what I really want to talk about. I'm anxious to hear what you're going to go with.
So I'm going to go with a series that I love. I love this genre of game, and that's Gradius. Okay, I know the latest Gradius release was Gradius Rebirth on the Wii, and that was in like 2008, but if you want to be like technical, the last like physical release was Gradius 5, man, on the PS2. This came out in 2004. It's been 16 years since the last one, and to be honest, this might be the best Gradius game, even though I
kind of rode off on a high note, yeah.
Even though I love the original Gradius on the NES. But here's what got me thinking about Gradius is they just announced R-Type Final 2 on the PS4, which is badass, because R-Type Final is on the PS2, so it's like, Konami, where's Gradius 6? Like, I feel like they should bring this back, and I feel like just the shmup genre in general is kind of dead, kind of dying.
Yeah.
There's indie titles here.
Yeah,
there,
I feel like the Switch, for whatever reasons, maybe kind of brought some focus back to it, because there's a little more of an indie focus or retro type of focus. But as far as, I agree with you, you know, it's not like you get a lot of mainline releases that you're seeing in your Walmarts and GameStops and things like that. They kind of feel just like that weird offbeat indie band most of your shooters do anyways. Yeah.
God, I would freaking, if they announced right now, I would flip out. I'd be like, heck yes. Yeah. And I would go through the entire series and play them and just build up my excitement for the new one.
Yeah, you know, they revisited Contra recently. I mean, it could happen.
I mean, they did release like the Gradius collection and like, but there's no new one.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, that would be awesome, especially with modern, you know, technology and graphics.
And like based on the visuals, I haven't played it. Obviously, it's not out yet. But of R-Type Final 2, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic game. God, now is the time, Konami.
Yeah.
Bring us Gradius 6.
You know, and don't dick it up. Don't do a bunch of microtransactions. Just make a hard, beautiful shooter. The blueprint is there.
Make sure the soundtrack's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I would love that.
That's a great pick. I've got a question. When did killing dinosaurs and shit become not cool?
Oh, when they got extinct.
Don't you see the danger, John, inherent in what you're doing here? Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
Dino Crisis. That's my pick.
That's a great
But I could even maybe sprinkle under that Turok. I mean, where is this genre gone? Jurassic Park is releasing new movies.
Yes, they are. Dinosaurs are in the media.
that are doing well. Where's Dino Crisis? We're getting all these remakes out of Capcom with Resident Evil. I think it's time. I'm not only saying a remake it, though that would be awesome.
That'd be badass.
But this franchise never felt really like it went stale. Now, that being said, I've never played the 3rd edition of the game. I've only played Dino Crisis 1 and 2, but I love the games. I don't know why they jumped off that train. I'm sure there's a reason. Maybe they weren't doing so super well commercially, but I feel like PS1 kids loved Dino Crisis 1 and 2.
They're fantastic games.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that series just kind of, it was building and then just dropped. And no one knows why. There's probably reasons. Yeah. There's probably red tape. I don't know, but...
You know, from a collector's market, those games are expensive as hell, whether you're looking at it on PS1 or Dreamcast. They're damn near unaffordable. Hell, I just traded Mega Man 29, my copy of Symphony of the Night, to get Dino Crisis 2 on the PS1. A lot of people watching would be like, my God, why would you do that? Because I love Dino Crisis.
Yeah,
I would rather, at this point, I've played Symphony of the Night so many times, I'd rather have Dino Crisis in the collection. But I don't understand. It's really confusing to me. I feel like with modern graphics and everything, you could make a Dino Crisis game that was freaky as hell. The dinosaurs would look so good, because when you go back and play those games on the PS1, who are we kidding?
Yeah,
tank controls.
Yeah, they don't date very well.
Capcom, you'll never see this video. We're too small for that. But I just don't understand. You're getting great results out of your remakes. I think a way to get people back in the Dino Crisis thought would be, get a Dino Crisis game in the works for 2022 or 2023. Get a remake of 1 and 2. Boom, boom. Get it for 2021, 2022. Get people back in the mix. Get this new generation introduced to a modern twist on the franchise, because no younger kids watching this are going to be able to go back and play it on PS1 and be like, oh my God, this game's badass. Us old dinosaurs, no pun intended, can, but why? Turok seemed so badass, and so did Dino Crisis, and then the dinosaur shooting genre, and I can't even say it all together, just fizzled out and went away. So that's my pick. Dino Crisis, Gradius, I love it.
This has nothing, it kind of has something to do with what you're talking about, but I was just thinking, how cool would it be if they made another Dinosaurs for Hire? Well,
that would be awesome too.
because
Yeah.
It's just another, and that game is bad.
Yeah.
I feel like no one talks about that game. That game is so sweet. I know it's
cool.
not. But I just had to
Genesis
bring it up.
hype. There's a little hidden gem for you right there, and free of charge. Let's talk about this beer.
Yes, the Drugstore Cowboy by Franklin Street Brewing Company. It's a New England style IPA from Manchester, Iowa. What do you think?
I mean, you know, if you're into drinking cowboy piss and bull semen straight out of a leather cowboy boot and flicking that old spur on the finish, I think you have yourself a good beer there, partner.
Dude, you nailed it right on the head.
I know
or
I did.
right on the spur, should I say.
You don't have to tell me.
I don't.
I know I did.
That is exactly what this tastes like, except good. Like, most people are like, that is going to taste bad? No. Imagine it tasting good.
Yeah.
That's this beer. That's all we have to say.
Yeah, I just want to ride around on a horse, eat some beef jerky. No-handed. I want to ride around no-handed on the horse. Like this.
It's got a Slim Jim.
I just think this beer's perfect for that.
It's so good, and save a horse.
Ride a cowboy. You know
From
what I
the
always say?
drugstore.
Adam before Eve, except after Steve. Anyways,
Nice.
I don't even know where to go from this. I want to thank Chronik Spartan
Yes, thank
again
you so much.
for tagging us in this video. But in these type of videos, it's time to tag some other people. How many did he tag at the end of his? 5?
5, I think.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're going to start off and we're going to tag Pixel Game Squad.
Absolutely.
I want to hear Riff and Gabbo's picks for this topic. Let's tag Captain Algebra.
Captain Algebra.
Yep.
Megadan 29.
Yep.
What about J-Love 81?
JLove81.
One more.
Chris, Telesplash
Ooh,
Gaming.
Telesplash Gaming. That's 5. Let's hear your picks, and don't pick our games.
And I'm going to break rules, and I'm going to give us 6. Let's get Pacmancase in on this.
Yes.
All right. So those are the folks that we are going to tag in this video. It's an awesome topic. It's just kind of a discussion-based thing. I would love to hear what you guys think. We always appreciate you tuning in, subscribing to the channel. Thanks again, Chronik Spartan. We're going to go drink some cowboy piss and bull semen and film another episode right after this. We'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid. Yeehaw! Partner.
Dude,
What are we drinking today?
today we're drinking Drugstore Cowboy by Drugstore. Fuck. I have like 2 lines. Yeehaw. Drugstore Cowboy.
Adam before Eve, except after Steve. Anyways,
Nice.
equals AIDS. Let's wrap this thing up. Things are getting out of control. What are we drinking?
Today we're drinking Drugstore Cowboy. Yeehaw by Franklin Street. I couldn't commit to a cowboy.
For me, a game series that I think just time and again nails it. I can't remember what I was going to say. Man, I don't remember what I said. What are we drinking?
Today we're drinking Drugstore Cowboy by Franklin Street. Drugstore Cowboy. Why is that so hard to say?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm getting hitched.
Hitched in your giddy up, dude.
Wow. Drugstore Cowboy.